Hey everyone, Matron here bringing you another StarCraft 2 commentary, this time Game 2 of the Best of 3 series between our blue Zerg here. He's tagged as Timber, but he is actually FXO Leenock, and his opponent and teammate is going to be the red Protoss here. That's going to be FXO Oz. We are on MLG Antigua Shipyard. This is part of the MLG Providence replay pack, and this was the winner's bracket open round 4 between these two players. In the last game on Shattered Temple, we saw that Leenock went for a Baneling bust after basically a one base Baneling bust with a late expand after he saw that Oz had gone for that wall off with the pylon, and once again Oz going for that wall off with the pylon. So again, that's going to allow him to get a faster wall off here using pylons, which are weaker buildings, just 400 HP compared to the gateways and forges, which have more HP, but it's going to allow him to have a lot of surface area. We do see this is a larger map, and this was Oz's choice, so I think he's going to feel like he's a little bit more protected, as it's going to require the Zerg to get all the way across the map here. This is more of a macro map. We do see the extractor trick for Leenock, and it looks like it's going to be an 11 pool here for him. So this earlier pool may allow him to get Zerglings across the field here and pressure the front door of Oz, especially if Oz does go for a Nexus first. He has scouted that there is the spawning pool here, so I imagine he will be going for the Forge first and maybe a cannon as well, though he is up to 15 probes. It's pretty late for a Forge. Typically you want to get it down just a little bit earlier than that, but he was a little bit late getting across here, getting that scouting information, and now he may have to defend against some Lings here coming out from Leenock. Leenock looks to be saving a little bit in the way of larvae. He's got 2 right now, and I think he's timing it out with the pool, so he will have 3 larvae when that pool does pop. So 6 Lings should be coming out for Leenock in just a second. Looks like it's going to be 4 and a Queen as well as an Overlord. So these 4 Lings are going to try to make their way across the field here. MLG version of this Antigua Shipyard forces these cross spawns, so you know exactly where your opponent is. So you can send those Lings right to his front door. And now we do see that the Nexus has gone down before the cannon, so we'll see whether these 4 Lings are able to get across the field and get past this wall off before the cannon does finish. Cannons take 40 game seconds, so these Lings are going to do their best to power across here. And it looks like also sending out a drone too. I'm not sure if he's going to take a secret. Oh, he's going to take the gold. Wow. So he sees with his Overlord here, this front door already coming down for Oz. He knows that the fast expansion is coming, and wonder if Oz is actually going to hit this tower. Did he see that? Yes, he did. So he sees this gold being made by Leenock. He knows that he is going to be behind here as soon as that gold does finish. His wall off is complete with the pylon and the gateway here, so Leenock not going to be able to do too much damage. There goes the canceled pylon, as I think he wants to wall off with other buildings here. He wants to allow himself out with a Zealot or 2 perhaps. But Oz is going to be behind if Leenock is able to get up this gold, if he's able to saturate it with drones. If we check the drone count, 6 coming out for Leenock right now. That's going to fire him up all the way up to, I believe, about 21 compared to the 18 harvesters for Oz. Oz with that Nexus first and spending all these minerals on this wall, the cannon here, and now double gateways. He's really cutting probes. He's now producing them 2 at a time, but he is behind Leenock in the probe worker count. It is 22 to 21. Leenock looks like he's going to be transferring about 8 probes or 8 drones here over to this gold. So as soon as that gold pops, he's going to have that really nice rich mineral field income. And we do see double gateway coming out here for Oz. So he delays his cybernetics core a little bit. He delays his gas a little bit in favor of these double gateways, and I believe he's going to try to put on some pressure here on this gold, maybe with some early Zealot and Stalker pressure. The cybernetics core now finishing, and again, he hasn't completed his wall off, so that is going to allow him to get in and out of his base with units, which is pretty important. Oftentimes the wall off is complete. You're not able to get out until you have Warp Gate, and you can actually place down units on the low ground outside of your base. So this is going to allow Oz to get units out here, start pressuring this gold, and right now we have Leenock. He hasn't produced much in the way of units. He just has these 4 Lings. He's producing Queens at these bases. He's up to double gas, so we'll see what sort of tech he goes for. This speed is going to be quite late to try to face any sort of harassment by Oz. Oz coming out with 2 Stalkers, so Stalkers are very good against Lings without speed, especially off creep. They can basically kite them forever. do unlimited damage to them. So Oz is going to try to get in here and do some damage to the probe line. He can shoot from the high ground here, and we've got 14 lings coming out, but speed only about halfway done. So these two stalkers just going to be a pain, going to be delaying a lot of mining time here for Leenock. So that's going to allow Oz, as he continues to probe up, to get back in this one economically. As we check out the income, it is now 1,000 to a lower and lower, now 600 here for Leenock. So Leenock really needs to get these lings out. He needs to get speed finished and take care of these stalkers so he can get this high yield running once again. So we see trying to get us around here with these lings, but again, without speed, these stalkers can still run away. It looks like splitting up these stalkers, he's going to try to get one home with a lot of shields and HP, and now going to try to get in and see if Leenock is actually taking this this natural expo. You want to know whether your opponent is on 1 or 2 bases, and it looks like he won't try to get that scouting information, instead doubling back, so he doesn't know whether Leenock had taken a quick natural. He has not. Back in the base of Oz, we do see he's adding gateways, and he's also about to finish +1, so that's going to be very powerful against these lings as he comes out with more and more zealots. They start two-shotting lings once they +1 does finish. It's about to finish, and we'll see what he chooses to do here. He does have these just 4 gateways, so he can try to put on a little bit of economic pressure while continuing to probe up behind it, not being too all in. Back in Leenock's base, it looks like he has gone for a lair, and he's going to be coming with a Hydralisk then. So I like this play by him. It's going to be able to easily defend any sort of gateway pressure. And it looks like Oz getting a number of sentries here, so he spends a lot of gas on sentries, a lot of gas on this upgrade with a +1. So might be trying to come out with sentry zealot pressure against these lings and force fields, and +1 zealots very good against lings, but neither of those are very good against hydras. So 7 hydras coming out for Leenock, and I wonder if they're going to be at the main or if they're at the natural here, or at the gold, excuse me. As we see these sentries and the zealots pushing across here, he's already got a pylon in place, more sentries coming out. There's just so many sentries, so he's perhaps thinking he's just facing lings at this point, and he can get some great angles, but he is going to have hydras to deal with. There's the Spinecrawler as well. We've got a great surround coming here for Leenock. A number of nice force fields go down for Oz, but still those hydras with that range able to just chew through these units. They can take down these sentries so quickly. All the lings have been cleaned up, so Oz doing a nice job of cleaning up those lings with those zealots, but still the hydras are coming out. He still has this Spinecrawler to deal with, and just a nice surround here coming from Leenock. 79 food to 67. More and more units trying to be warped in here by Oz, but it's just not going to be enough, and Leenock, like a boss, handles that pressure. He will be able to save this gold here. He's also expanding to his natural, and now we just have Oz just has these gateways. He's adding a 5th and a 6th as Leenock takes care of some of these pylons across the map, and without any sort of tech here, with that huge investment, that gas investment in sentries, Oz really not going to be able to get up to any sort of AoE, Templar tech, or Colossi tech to deal with these hydras. So Hydra is very powerful against gateway units, especially these low HP sentries and zealots. Any sort of force fields actually benefit the Hydras, so a very high DPS and a very nice army here for Leenock, as he's going to perhaps pressure the front door, at least stop the third from going up. And right now he is on 3 bases, got a lot of drones coming up. It is 59 plus a number on the way against the 53, but again, remember Leenock on these 3 bases, so he's getting minerals from 3 bases. If we check the income counting station, it is now 1600 to 1400, so not too far ahead quite yet, but you see that number climbing for Leenock. So he's going to be able to come out with just more and more units, eventually perhaps overrun Oz. Oz is coming out with +2 weapons, so once that finishes, he might do some sort of timing here and try to take down at least the gold, or maybe just the standing army of Leenock. He has these slow roaches off of creep though, so if we check, he might be able to do a little bit of force field micro there and try to capture some of those hydras, off that creep, as they just are so slow. But still, Leenock doing a nice job here, just continuing to macro up, now adding some roaches, roach speed, and +1. I like the fact that he's going for upgrades to counter the upgrades of Oz. Roach speed and those hardy roaches adding a nice tanking mix to that high DPS Zergling and Hydra. mix that he already had. Right now 144 to 97. Oz at this point needs some sort of break to go his way. He has not been able to get up a third. Leenock has that Ling there scouting for that timing. I believe he might be going, okay, he's going to go for a bit of kind of a flank here. He does not want to go head on against this army, so might be going around, placing pylons as he goes so he can continue to reinforce here. Does Leenock have any idea? I don't believe he's seen it quite yet, so Oz might be able to sneak into the natural and into the main here, and if he does some nice force fields, he could get some damage done. We have Leenock, he's added a few infestors. Definitely like that play, especially since a good transition off this gateway pressure is to go for blink on stalkers, so those fungal growth is going to prevent the blink, and now we've got a decent position here for Leenock, pretty wide area. We've got a fungal growth going down on all those sentries, doing a lot of damage. Nice force fields going up, keeping those roaches and hydras in the back from doing any sort of damage, but still just so many units here for Leenock. He's got 11 roaches on the way. These stalkers and these sentries are sort of holed up here, back up against this wall, and just these hydras pushing in here. These roaches not going down ever, just very high HP. +1 has finished for Leenock, +2 is finished for Oz, but it's not enough. There's the GG from Oz, and Leenock taking this one in 2 very strong games. And I just love the decision making by Leenock. In that first game, he went for the Baneling bust against that weak wall off. And again, that was pretty surgical. He knew exactly how many Banelings he needed. He knew about how many Zerglings he needed against the probes that Oz would have. And then in this game on Antigua Shipyard, he knew his opponent was probably going for that wall off. Because it was MLG version, it was going to be pretty far. He was not going to be able to stream units and get any sort of pressure with roaches or a Baneling bust again. And Oz did a much better job of walling off, placing his cybernetic score and gateways behind those vulnerable pylons. But Leenock instead decided to take the gold just right away, and Oz was never able to pressure it. By the time he did come out with that Zealot and that Sentry Force, with that +1, Leenock had already teched up very quickly to Hydras, so all those sentries, all that gas sunk into that push wasn't very effective, and then Oz could not tech up off of that because he had just spent so much gas on those sentries. He really needed Colossi at this point to try to deal with those hydras and those roaches, and then at the end to sort of finish things off, Leenock went for roaches with roach speed to tank a little bit of damage for those hydras and eventually put away his teammate. So Leenock takes the series 2-0. I'll go ahead and cast more games from MLG Providence 2011, where Leenock and all the Korean and top pros had great showings. So make sure you check out my channel, Matron StarCraft at youtube.com. Thanks for watching this one. Take care.